Okay, let's dive right into this. If you're feeling even a little bit overwhelmed by the prospect of pulling together a massive holiday feast, take a deep breath because you are in exactly the right place. I'm your culinary instructor, and together we're going to transform those intimidating, complicated recipes into a highly visual, totally manageable blueprint. Think of this explainer as your ultimate beginner masterclass for a multi-dish Thanksgiving menu. To make things super simple, our lesson plan today is broken down into 3 chronological phases: preparing the savory sides, mastering the holiday desserts, and finally, transforming the turkey leftovers. Let's kick things off with phase 1, preparing the savory sides. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the technique. We're talking about a julienne. It sounds fancy, but it just means slicing your sweet red pepper and celery into thin, matchstick-sized strips. And hey, safety first. Always remember to curl your fingers into a claw grip to protect them from your blade. Mastering this safe julienne technique isn't just about making your fresh zucchini slaw look like it came from a professional kitchen. It ensures all those veggies texturally blend perfectly. Speaking of that zucchini, we really have to manage its massive water content. Literally, if you skip this step, your slaw will be a watery mess. So, you're going to take your 6 grated medium zucchinis and toss them thoroughly with 2 teaspoons of salt. Then, and this is absolutely crucial, let them rest in a colander for exactly 30 minutes. That salt is going to draw out all the excess moisture. Afterward, give them a good rinse with cold water and drain them well. This extraction process guarantees your slaw will perfectly absorb our zesty Dijon and horseradish dressing. Moving on to our super comforting vegetable casserole. We're going to utilize mise en place. That's just a classic French term for having all your ingredients measured, cut, and ready to go before you even turn on the stove. On the left, we've got our base: French-style green beans, a cup each of chopped celery and green bell pepper, some drained choux peg corn, half a cup of sour cream, cream of celery soup, and half a cup of grated Parmesan. On the right side, our topping is simple: a quarter cup of chopped almonds, half a cup of melted butter, and a stack of crushed Ritz crackers. Precision over guesswork is exactly how you build real confidence in the kitchen. You might be wondering, why keep them separate? Well, it's all about building a beautiful sensory contrast. Cooking is completely about balance, right? You've got this rich, creamy base combining vibrant vegetables with sour cream and savory Parmesan. And then you layer on that crunchy, textured topping of buttery Ritz crackers and almonds. It's that exact contrast in every single bite that makes a Thanksgiving side dish truly memorable. And the magic number to bring that whole casserole together? 350. Always ensure your oven is fully preheated to exactly 350 degrees Fahrenheit before baking. Once you've layered your creamy base and crunchy topping, baking it at this precise temperature for 45 minutes guarantees a perfectly even cook. All right, moving right along to phase 2, mastering the holiday desserts. For our first dessert, a gorgeous white chocolate almond torte, you're going to need a very specific tool: the springform pan. This is a 10-inch baking pan that features a little latch on the side to expand and remove the collar. Because our torte has this incredibly delicate crust, topped with a rich filling, you can't exactly just flip it upside down and get it out, right? This pan allows the walls to cleanly detach after baking, leaving your masterpiece completely intact. And this brilliantly illustrates the exact oven temperature management you need to nail this dessert. It's a bit of a dance. At minute 0, the crust goes in completely alone at a high 400 degrees Fahrenheit. 10 minutes later, pull it out and immediately drop that oven heat down to 350 degrees. Pour in your white chocolate and almond filling, sprinkle the rest of your almonds on top, and pop it back in. You'll bake it for another 40 to 50 minutes until the top is slightly brown and the almonds are beautifully toasted, but definitely not burnt. Finally, patience is here, folks. Let it cool for 10 minutes before you even think about removing that springform collar. Okay, let's talk pie. For the world's best pumpkin pie crust, you really need to watch for exact physical cues. First, you're going to blend your flour, salt, and shortening using a pastry knife. Actually, scratch that. The most important thing here is to not overmix. You want the mixture looking coarse, literally the size of peas. Then you add exactly 4 tablespoons of ice-chilled water and blend just until it transforms into a soft dough. That specific 2-step texture shift is the absolute secret to a perfectly flaky crust. As for the filling that makes this the world's best, it all comes down to an incredibly aromatic spice blend. You'll whisk together half a cup each of light brown and white sugar, a tablespoon of light rum, and precise measurements of cinnamon, vanilla, ginger, and allspice. But honestly, the real game changers here are those finely grated half teaspoons of fresh orange and lemon zest. They provide this bright, citrusy lift that totally cuts through the richness of the pumpkin.
Once you pour that glorious filling into your pie crust, your target temperature shifts again. This pumpkin pie demands a strict 375 degrees Fahrenheit for its 50 to 55-minute bake. Finally, Phase 3, transforming the turkey leftovers. Let's master some culinary resourcefulness. Let's move to the turkey stock and see how this flavor foundation builds. You need these exact ingredient ratios to establish your savory base. We're looking at 3 cups of thinly sliced sweet onions, 2 tablespoons of canola oil, a teaspoon of salt, half a teaspoon each of fresh black pepper and dried thyme, and 2 quarts of water.
Now, extracting all that flavor is a process. You don't just toss it all in a pot and boil it right away. Step 1 is absolutely crucial. Start by sautéing those 3 cups of onions in your oil until you hit the sensory cue of them being soft and light browned. That caramelization builds so much depth. Only then do you stir in the leftover turkey bones, herbs, and water, bringing the whole thing to a quick boil. Finally, drop it to a low heat, cover it, and let it simmer for a full hour. This slow extraction is literally how you create liquid gold in your kitchen.
So what do we do with the 4 cups of chopped, cooked, leftover turkey meat? We are making turkey tetrazzini. We're giving these leftovers an incredibly delicious second life. We'll combine that chopped turkey and, just as a quick safety reminder, always sanitize your knife, cutting board, and surfaces immediately after handling any raw or cooked poultry, with 16 ounces of spaghetti, a rich homemade sauce using chicken broth, milk, butter, and flour, and a very generous 1 2/3 cups of grated Parmesan cheese.
A super quick but absolutely essential note on preparing that 16 ounces of spaghetti. Because it's eventually going into the oven covered in sauce, you cannot overcook it right now. Boil your lightly salted water, add the spaghetti, and cook it strictly for 8 to 10 minutes just until it is firm to the bite. Drain it at once. This ensures your pasta holds its structure perfectly while it bakes in the casserole dish. And speaking of baking, the final step for our fully assembled cheese-topped tetrazzini requires exactly 1 hour. Place it in a 350-degree oven for exactly 1 hour until you see a beautifully light-browned, bubbly surface. Look at what we've accomplished together in this explainer. You've learned how to safely handle your knives, properly extract moisture from vegetables, manage precise pastry textures, juggle oven temperatures, build incredibly deep flavors for a stock, and maximize every single one of your ingredients. You should seriously consider yourselves graduated from this beginner masterclass. You now have the full blueprint to confidently conquer a Thanksgiving feast. So the only question left to ask is, you've mastered the techniques, control the temperatures, and transform the leftovers. What culinary challenge will you conquer next? Keep practicing, stay safe in the kitchen, and most importantly, keep cooking.